Never give up on a dream just because of the time it will take to accomplish it. The time will pass anyway. This is one of my favorite quotes by Earl Nightingale. We're coming up on not only a new year, but a new decade. And if you're anything like me, you are feeling very pensive about your goals, your dreams, where your life is going, what you want out of this new year, what you want out of this new decade. And also, if you're like me, there might be some things that cross your mind that you tell yourself the window of opportunity to start those endeavors has passed. And you know what? I'm here today to tell you that they haven't. I'm channeling some Shia LaBeouf here. There's this sort of unfortunate pressure in our society to figure out what you want to do with the rest of your life when you're 18 years old or pretty close to it. You choose to go to school and decide on a major or learn a trade or start down some path that you will ideally grow on and stay on forever. The problem is most of us have no idea what we want to do with our lives when we're 18. Like when I was 18, I had never lived in the real world as an adult with like adult finances and adult time. Like I had just come from having to ask for a pass to use the bathroom during the day in high school to having to choose a path for the rest of my life. So it's understandable that a lot of adults start on some path when they're 18 or 19 or 20 years old and then eventually develop different desires for what they want to do in life. But oftentimes it's really easy to feel like it's too late to go back and change that course. Like you should have known that back when you were 18 or 19 or 20. And I feel like that perspective is always there no matter what age you are. When you're 22, you feel like you should have started at 18. And when you're 30, you'll wish you started at 22. And when you're 40, you'll wish you'll started at 30 and so on and so forth. I want to share an example with you that I always think of when I tell myself, oh, it's too late. You should have started 5 years ago. You should have started 10 years ago. Imagine that you're 35 years old. I don't know how old you are, but let's say you're 35 and you know that what you're doing is not your passion and you would like to be doing something else. And let's say that at 35, you take the next 5 years to go back to school or to train for a skill or to practice something, even if it's for a hobby or for a profession, whatever it is that you want to start doing at 35. Let's say that you take the next 5 years to learn or prepare or train or get certified for whatever that is, and you get to fully start doing that thing at 40 years old. If you started an entirely new career or just a hobby at 40 years old, by the time you retire at roughly 65, you would have 25 years of experience in that field. At 35, if you decide you want to be an engineer and you go to school for 4 years, I'm using 5 because it's just a round number. Let's say you went to school for 4 years and you got your degree at 39 and entered the field of engineering at 39 years old. By the time you retired, you would have nearly 30 years of experience as an engineer. Or let's talk about a hobby. Maybe at 35, you decide you really want to learn how to play the guitar. It's something that's always fascinated you. Let's say you spent 5 years learning how to play guitar, practicing, taking lessons. If you became an amateur guitar player at 40 years old and you played until you were 70, you would have 30 years of experience playing the guitar. Like, how impressive is that to say, I've played guitar for 30 years? Fun fact, I have notes here, of the 100 top self-starting founders on the Forbes World's Biggest Public Companies list, the most common age those founders were when they created their businesses was 35 years old. These companies include Boeing, Procter & Gamble, Hershey's, Macy's, Garmin, Sony, and Intel. If you're 25 years old and feeling like you aren't on the right path and you would like to do something different with your life, you're still 10 years younger than all of these founders were when they started their billion-dollar empires. Did you know that Bob Ross served 20 years in the Air Force before he went to school for painting? Julia Child wrote her first cookbook when she was 50. It is not too late to do what you want to do with your life. And I do want to acknowledge that this is often easier said than done. I know that people have financial obligations and family obligations and things in their life that keep them from just throwing up everything and deciding to do something else. But I also think there are a lot of people, myself included, that will fall into the thinking of it's just too late because the idea of the change scares me, not because I couldn't possibly find a way to pursue it. Something that I talk to people about all the time that I think is a really great example of this topic is whether or not it's too late to start a YouTube channel. When I started my channel back in 2009, I remember looking at other people who already had established channels channels, people who had like 50 or 60,000 subscribers, which was at the time like the top tier of YouTube. And I remember having a feeling of like, I'm late to the party here because these people already have huge channels. And a couple years later in 2011, I remember having conversations with friends where YouTube was starting to become a thing and they knew I had a channel and they would be really interested in it. And I would say, you should start a channel, it's so fun. And the response that I would always get is like, oh, I feel like so many people have channels now, like it's so saturated, it's just kind of late to be starting a channel. And I had those conversations in 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014. There are so many successful creators who started channels during those years when people were telling me it was too late to start. Peter McKinnon, I love his videos. I think he started in 2016 and he now has over 4 million subscribers. Sierra Schultze, I love watching her videos. She just passed 1 million subscribers recently and I think she started in 2014, 2015. There are creators that are going to start their channels in the next few years that are going to be massively successful. Like in 2030, if YouTube is still around, we are all going to know about massively successful people on this platform who haven't even started their channels yet. I'm certain of it. So going back to the quote at the beginning of this video, time is going to pass at the same rate no matter what you do with it. So if you're discouraged at trying something new because you'll have to take a few years to learn how to do it or go back to school to get certified to do it, that time is going to come and go anyway, so you might as well spend it on something that matters to you. I'm not 90 years old, so I can't say this with certainty, but I'm pretty sure that 90-year-old us is not going to sit around and wish that we played it safer in life. 90-year-old you isn't gonna be like, I'm really glad I didn't try to start learning guitar at 35, because that definitely was too old. I hope that something in this video has inspired you for the new year. I'm trying to be your hype woman. That's really the only purpose of this video, is I'm trying to hype you up to maybe do something that scares you or go after something that you're hesitant to go after. If you have any New Year's resolutions or goals that you're going after in the new year, I would love to know what they are down in a comment below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button and the notifications bell so you know when new videos are posted. And before I go, let's talk about today's sponsor, Squarespace. If your new goal for 2020 is in need of a website to go with it, I cannot recommend Squarespace enough. It is so easy. The layouts are beautiful. You can drag and drop everything. You can get a site up and running in no time. And then you can manage your posts on the go with the Squarespace blogging app. So visit squarespace.com to sign up for a free trial. You get to design your whole site, and when it's looking good and it's ready to launch, visit squarespace.com/Allison Anderson to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. I hope you guys have had a wonderful holiday season, and I will see you in the new year. Bye.